Here, I forgot something before I leave. I forgot this. This for entertainment. This for entertainment purposes only. But this is real. We do receipts for a reason.
Secret Service agent sat in a darkened office inside the Richard B. Russell Federal Building, staring at a grid of faces on a monitor. 48 faces, 24 men, 24 women, different ages, different ethnicities. All of them had bank accounts, credit histories, employment records, and home addresses. All of them had passed identity verification at federally regulated financial institutions. None of them existed. Not one face on that screen belonged to a living human being. Every photograph had been synthesized by an artificial intelligence model. Every voice that had spoken to a bank representative over the phone had been generated in real time. Every utility.
They put this out 7 hours ago. What did it get? 138 views. But it got 7,000.
Utility bill, every pay stub, every government document attached to those identities had been fabricated using publicly available templates and AI-assisted design tools. The operation had created more than 300 phantom people across 9 states. Total financial exposure exceeded $60 million, and the system that built them was still running. Here's
60 million. So 100 million is more than 60 million. So if I say to somebody, A, B, I say, yo, B, do you see what I see? I don't know no B. I don't know A through Z, but yeah, I know because I ain't know nothing about no op. It was an op. This is an operation. Was this an operation or this was a fucking?
Secret Service found it. The investigation started with a phone call. On February 3rd, 2026, the fraud department at a regional bank headquartered in Gwinnett County, Georgia, contacted the Secret Service's Atlanta field office. The bank's compliance team had flagged a cluster of personal loan applications. 7 applications, all submitted within a 9-day window.
Look at Texas, yo. Look at Texas, Joe. Look at Texas.
In late January, all approved, all performing, meaning the borrowers were making their scheduled payments on time. Credit scores ranged from 680 to 740. Employment histories were verified. Utility bills matched residential addresses. On paper, everything looked clean. The compliance officer explained what triggered the review. It wasn't fraud indicators. It was something subtler. A junior analyst had noticed that 4 of the 7 applicants listed employers in the same industry, logistics consulting, and all 4 companies had been incorporated in Georgia within the same 60-day period. The analyst ran a broader search across the bank's portfolio and found 11 more accounts with similar characteristics. Same type of employer, same incorporation timeline, same pattern of small, consistent payments that built credit profiles steadily over months. 18 accounts, all performing. No losses, no complaints, no reason to suspect anything, except that the pattern was too clean, too uniform, too consistent to be organic. The agent who took the call had spent 9 years on the Secret Service's Financial Crimes Task Force. He specialized in bank fraud and money laundering. He'd seen kiting schemes, bust-out fraud, identity theft rings that stole credentials from real people. This was different. This wasn't identity theft. This was identity creation. Within 48 hours, the agent submitted a request to pull full documentation on all 18 accounts. Photos, voice recordings from phone verifications, copies of uploaded documents, IP addresses from online applications. When the files arrived, the team started cross-referencing. The photos were the first red flag. Not because they looked fake, the opposite. They looked too polished. Consistent lighting, neutral backgrounds, skin textures that were realistic but lacked the micro asymmetries found in actual photographs. The team ran the images through a reverse image search. No matches anywhere on the internet. No
No matches anywhere on the internet. I'm a for real person. I just don't want to be on the fucking internet in y'all fucking operations. Did I sign up for that shit? Did y'all tell me that y'all was gonna be doing some shit like this? Yeah, I've been looking at them deep fake shits. I've been looking at that shit. I know what I'm talking about. A real
social
fucking
media
person or a
profile.
fucking robot. Yo, that's why when motherfucker sit there and they call from a phone number and it take them a minute before they get on the phone, I bang on them. Click.
Files. No LinkedIn pages. No digital footprint whatsoever beyond the banking documents. The agent requested assistance from the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center. The Bureau had been tracking a rise in
October
synthetic fraud
2025.
nationally, and this fit the emerging profile. A joint task force was assembled by February 12th. The first breakthrough came from voice analysis. 6 of the 18
What did it say? They came from a voice analysis. I said, I just hold the phone down and let you hear who talking. Y'all make the decision who the fuck it is talking. I don't know these niggas. I don't know none. This the internet. You could be a fake or whatever. So you gonna send me a picture and show me that you're a real person. And you ain't no nigga. And if you keep playing with me like you is a nigga, yeah. You got 60 fucking days. Don't play with me. Play with Parker Brothers.
account holders had completed phone-based identity verification with the bank. The calls were recorded. Federal audio forensics specialists examined the recordings and found anomalies invisible to the human ear. Micropatterns in pitch modulation, artifacts in breath timing, spectral signatures consistent with neural text-to-speech models. The voices were deepfakes, high quality, conversational, capable of answering follow-up questions in real time, but not human. I spent hours going through the technical analysis on those voice samples. One detail kept nagging me. The deepfake voices didn't just answer questions. They hesitated. They used filler words. Let me think. They even cleared their throats. Whoever built this system had studied how real people sound when they're nervous on the phone with a bank, and programmed that nervousness in. That level of engineering sophistication narrowed the suspect pool considerably. This wasn't a script kiddie operation. This was built by someone who understood machine learning architecture, voice synthesis, and banking compliance protocols at a professional level. The task force ran IP analysis on the online loan applications. All 18 had been submitted through VPN services, but the encryption wasn't flawless. 3 applications had briefly connected through an IP address geolocated to Duluth, Georgia, a suburb northeast of Atlanta, a commercial internet provider. The connection lasted less than 4 seconds each time before the VPN re-engaged. 4 seconds. That was the window. Agents obtained a subpoena for the IP records. The address corresponded to a commercial office suite in a mid-rise building on Pleasant Hill Road. The suite was leased to a company called Parallel Metrics LLC, registered in Georgia the previous October. Single-member LLC.
Y'all remember the person, the Scorpio problems came? Scorpio problems was right here. And then there was the other, the Quinn boy. But I know he was for real because I know I looked him up. Detective Quinn.
LC. The registered agent was a different company, another LLC, this one registered in Delaware, with a forwarding address in Wilmington. Shell layers, standard concealment. But the physical address was real. Surveillance began on February 15th, 2026. Agents positioned 2 vehicles in the parking structure adjacent to the office building and installed a camera covering the suite's entrance. For the first 72 hours, activity was minimal. 2 individuals, both male, both appearing to be in their early 30s, arrived each morning between 8 and 9 and left between 6 and 7 p.m. They carried laptop bags. They dressed casually. They ordered food delivery. They looked like any 2 software developers working on a startup. On the 4th day of surveillance, a delivery truck arrived. It carried 6 large shipping boxes from a hardware distributor. Agents photographed the shipment. The boxes were labeled as containing GPU computing units, high-performance graphics processors used for machine learning workloads. Street value of the hardware, approximately $90,000. That delivery changed the investigation's priority level. GPU clusters of that size aren't used for standard software development. They're used for training and running AI models, neural networks, image generation, voice synthesis, the exact tools needed to manufacture synthetic identities at scale. The task force escalated the case. By February 21st, the joint investigation had expanded to include analysts from the Secret Service's Global Investigative Operations Center and a dedicated cyber crimes unit from the FBI's Atlanta division. Here's the part that doesn't sit right, even now. The suspects weren't hiding. They had a lease under a registered LLC. They showed up to work on a predictable schedule. They ordered lunch on delivery apps. They weren't behaving like criminals running a $60 million fraud operation. They were behaving like engineers building a product. The next phase of the investigation targeted the scope of the operation. The task force needed to understand how many synthetic identities existed, which financial institutions had been compromised, and whether the 2 individuals in Duluth were operating alone. Agents obtained warrants for financial records connected to Parallel Metrics LLC and its Delaware parent entity. The records revealed a monthly expenditure of approximately $14,000. Office lease, electricity, internet, cloud computing credits, and hardware purchases. Revenue, 0. The company had never invoiced a client, never filed a tax return showing income, never sold a product. Its entire purpose was operational infrastructure for the identity generation pipeline. The electricity bills told their own story. The suite consumed roughly 4 times the power of a comparable office space. GPU servers running 24 hours a day generate significant heat and draw substantial current. The building's management company had noted the high usage, but hadn't flagged it. The tenants paid on time. Meanwhile, the FBI's IC3 analysts had been running the 18 known synthetic identities through the financial...
Where they, what they call it? The IC3? I showed you the joint on the Jizzon. I said, yo, I'm trying to let everybody know it's a fraud person in the joint. These green lights is on every time I go on Facebook. That's why I go live on here, and I make sure I go live on Facebook.
Crimes Enforcement Network's database, referencing social security numbers, dates of birth, and address histories against records. Other financial institutions produced a cascade of matches. The 18 identities at the Gwinnett County Bank were a fraction. The same construction methodology, AI-generated photos, fabricated employment histories, deepfake voice verifications. appeared in account records at banks and credit unions across 9 states: Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, and Virginia. 314 synthetic individuals, each with a credit history built methodically over months. Small secured credit cards opened first, paid consistently. Then personal loans. Then auto loans, though no vehicles were ever purchased. The loans were serviced for 60 to 90 days, building positive payment history. Then the credit lines were drawn down. Cash advances. Balance transfers to accounts that dead-ended, prepaid debit cards purchased with fabricated identification. Total exposure across all institutions, $62.4 million. The system is built on the assumption that if someone has a social security number, a credit history, and verified contact information, they are a real person. That assumption held for decades. It doesn't hold anymore. The suspects had reverse engineered the Know Your Customer process. Every verification step, photo ID, phone call, document upload, credit check, had a corresponding AI-generated bypass. The system wasn't hacking bank servers. It wasn't exploiting software vulnerabilities. It was walking through the front door with a fabricated human being and shaking hands. The task force faced an operational problem. Surveillance confirmed 2 individuals, but the digital evidence suggested infrastructure that could be accessed remotely. If additional operators existed outside Georgia, a raid on the Duluth office could alert them. The case needed to be airtight before any arrests. Agents obtained a warrant for pen register data on the mobile phones associated with the 2 suspects. Call records and location data over a 30-day period showed something unexpected. Both phones operated almost exclusively within a 10-mile radius of the Duluth office. No travel, no calls to international numbers, no burner phone patterns. The communication footprint was remarkably small, consistent with 2 people who communicated primarily through encrypted messaging platforms. The task force brought in a digital forensics team to examine the suspects' online footprint. Both had LinkedIn profiles. Both listed backgrounds in software engineering. One had worked at a mid-size fintech company in Atlanta until 2024, the other at a cloud computing firm in Raleigh until the same year. Their professional histories were real. Their technical skills were verifiable. They had left legitimate careers to build an identity factory. The financial trail from the drawn-down credit lines led through a web of prepaid cards and peer-to-peer payment platforms. Agents traced 23 distinct cash-out pathways. Most terminated in cryptocurrency purchases, Bitcoin and stablecoins acquired through decentralized exchanges that required minimal identity verification. From there, the trail went cold in mixing services designed to obscure transaction origins. Here's the take that'll probably get us flack. The banks were not victims in the traditional sense. Every one of the 314 synthetic accounts passed KYC verification. Every single one. That means the compliance systems at multiple federally regulated institutions could not distinguish between a real person and an AI-generated fabrication. The technology that enabled this fraud cost the operators less than $50,000 to build. The compliance infrastructure it defeated cost the banking industry billions annually. That gap is not a technology problem. It's a design failure. On March 4, 2026, the task force received authorization for a Title III wiretap on the suspects' encrypted communications. It took the FBI's technical team 4 days to establish access through a cooperating service provider. The first intercepted messages confirmed what agents had suspected. The 2 suspects discussed their operation using clinical technical language. Batch 7 is curing, meant a new set of synthetic identities was building credit history. Harvest window referred to the period when credit lines would be drawn down. Compost referred to identities that had been flagged or frozen by banks and would be abandoned. They discussed error rates in their voice synthesis model and debated adjustments to their facial generation algorithm to better match demographic distributions in target regions. They weren't criminals celebrating their scheme. They were engineers debugging a product. That distinction mattered for the psychological profile, and it would matter for the prosecution. Would you have noticed the signs if these identities appeared in your bank's portfolio? 300 people with perfect credit behavior, No digital footprint outside financial records, and faces that don't exist anywhere else on the internet. Most banks didn't notice for months. By mid March, the task force had enough evidence for arrest warrants and search warrants. The coordination challenge was significant. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation needed to be involved because the suspects had layered their operation behind Georgia registered LLCs, and state charges would supplement federal prosecution. The GBI's cybercrime unit was briefed on March 15th and integrated into the operational plan. The raid was scheduled for March 26, 2026. The tactical plan called for simultaneous execution of search warrants at 3 locations: the Duluth office suite, the primary suspect's apartment in Peachtree Corners, and the second suspect's residence in Johns Creek. The FBI's evidence response team would handle digital forensics at all 3 sites. The Secret Service would lead the arrest at the office. GBI agents would secure the residences. One complication emerged 72 hours before the raid. The wiretap captured a conversation in which one suspect mentioned the Savannah build. Agents could determine whether this referred to a second operational location in Savannah, Georgia, or a code name for something else. The task force had to decide: delay the raid to investigate, or proceed with the risk that a secondary location might exist. They chose to proceed. The logic was straightforward. The wiretap showed no indication that the suspects were aware of the investigation, but every additional day of operation meant more synthetic identities entering the financial system. The pipeline was producing approximately 8 to 12 new identities per week. Delay had a measurable cost. March 26, 2026, 5:43 a.m. Duluth, Georgia. 14 federal agents assembled in the parking structure adjacent to the office building on Pleasant Hill Road. 4 Secret Service agents from the Atlanta field office. 6 FBI agents from the Atlanta Division's Cyber Squad. 4 GBI investigators from the Cybercrime Unit. 2 unmarked vehicles blocked the building's rear exit. An evidence response team van waited on the street below. At 5:51 a.m., building security confirmed that neither suspect had arrived yet. The entry team moved to the 3rd floor and positioned outside Suite 314. A maintenance key provided by building management opened the main door. The suite was smaller than agents expected. 2 rooms. The front room held 4 desks, multiple monitors, and standard office furniture. The back room was different. 4 server racks lined the wall, connected by a tangle of cables to an industrial cooling unit that hummed continuously. The ambient temperature in the back room was notably lower than the front. Green and amber LEDs blinked across dozens of GPU cards.
Well, 314. Yeah, that was my that was my that was my state, yo. Soldier, 3rd Battalion, 14th Marines. I'm a real person. I ain't no robot. Yo, I ain't no fake. I don't play that fake shit. Now, if somebody else want to play that fake shit, go ahead, be fake. I'm not him, Slum. Yeah, y'all go ahead and take a bow, see if y'all fake. Y'all fake? Yeah, motherfuckers get killed. Then they say, yo, they fake. We want to see the birth certificate. What the fuck you mean you want to see the birth certificate? Federal court said it. That this was a real person. Go ask about them other fake shits that y'all believe in.
Stacked in the racks.
Like
The
Harry
servers were
Tubman.
running. The identity generation pipeline was active. An FBI digital forensics specialist approached the first server rack and began documenting the hardware configuration before initiating any data capture. Protocol required photographing every cable connection, every screen display, every indicator light before any equipment was touched. The specialist noticed something on one of the connected monitors: a queue. A processing queue showing 47 identity packages in various stages of generation. Each entry had a progress bar and a status label. Photo complete. Voice model.
So somebody told y'all I was I was a robot because goddamn, my data was breached with 39. It was 39 fucking Jones. 7 more. That'd have been, no, 8 more. That would have been, what's that? 8 more days, 8 more years, what?
Training. Document set. Generating. Credit application. Queued. The system was building 47 new people at that moment. We dug through the technical specifications later documented in the forensic report. Here's what didn't make the news. The facial generation model wasn't using a standard generative adversarial network. It had been fine-tuned on a dataset of state DMV photographs, images that had been scraped or purchased from data brokers who traffic in leaked government databases. The model didn't just create realistic faces. It created faces that matched the statistical distribution of real ID photos, lighting angles, background.
Wait a minute. Which photos? Real ID, which is the Real ID Act. And I didn't want nobody knowing who the fuck I was. So I would rather not fly. I'd rather drive. Yeah, you gotta get a real ID. Yeah, they want you to turn. They want to do it. Turn your head this way, make that sure that way. Yeah. Don't make me go into my Gmail and see what happened. Y'all knocked down both my cash apps because I was in there as the mystery gang, but it's mystery gang reloaded. So y'all ask for my ID. If y'all don't unlock my shit, cause I know y'all watching this. If y'all don't unlock my motherfucking cash app, that's how I fucking send money to my daughter. And you got these bitches down here talking about I ran some credit card scheme with them, and them I don't know what the fuck them bitches was into. They said they needed help. Yeah, they said this electric bill needed to be paid. These phone bills needed to be paid. They needed help. Yeah, I showed y'all the receipts. Yeah, don't play with me on this motherfucking joint because I ain't asked to be on this motherfucker in the first place. You don't know what motherfuckers be into. Bitch, and then you can get me killed. I smacked the holy shit out of you. You was sitting up there telling them everything you could about me, my doctor's name, everything. Cause y'all thought I wasn't a real nigga, huh? No, I ain't no real nigga. I'm an indigenous American that they want to erase. They want to erase us. And y'all them fucking house niggas that will help them. Yeah, I ain't verifying shit because I don't know who the fuck. I don't know. You knew the John knew everybody in the John. I only know you if I seen you, and I don't know you. We ain't grow up together, so I don't know you. I ain't lying. This the internet. Jokers got all types of shit going on. I'm a real person. This is a real person talking. I don't know what the fuck this mic go into the jaw. I don't know who got control over the system. Evidently, yeah. But I know to put a cover the mic up. Well, that I don't cover the mic up, but the picture drawn. Yeah. I mean, shit. If the people that make the software like Microsoft and all of that shit, if I know that you doing a job and I'm paying for it, I don't owe you shit. If you put me in some type of fucking shit that you threw in your terms of service or some shit that I done turned off and all of this shit get me to be participate in some fucking program and you want me to take a picture of myself, I don't why the fuck am I if I want to take a picture, I got a fucking phone. I take a selfie right there. So if I took a selfie and somebody trafficked it, like try to make up an ID, yeah, I don't know nothing about that. Yeah, I got plenty of pictures of myself. I love myself. Y'all the one that made these phones up. The shit say selfie. You take a selfie. Now y'all got all these different fucking names for a selfie. It's a fucking selfie. You want me to take a picture of myself to do what? Nah, you trying to make up a score on me and see who the fuck, you know what I mean, what type of reputation I am. And broke through VPNs and everything. Yeah, unencrypt shit that was meant to be encrypted. Operation Tor. Yeah. So why y'all put my shit on there? I told the people to notify me. Yeah, them Equifax and them I said, yo, you supposed to notify me. I'm paying you to keep me off the internet. I don't give a fuck how many internet y'all got. That they mean that dark net, all of that shit. What the fuck you talking about? Yeah, that's supposed to be for anonymity, cause you know people be passing news articles and all types of shit through there. Child pornography. Yeah, yeah. You seen any of that with mine? You know what mine say? These pornographers just moved into your area. Scandal. It tell me exactly how many sexual predators just moved into the area. Cause yo, Ratchet TV, you are a registered sex offender. They said that you were supposed to be a registered sex offender. I don't know what you did. I had to reread your jizz on. You supposed to be a registered sex offender. I don't know who got rid of that all of them Jones. So when I was putting those names up, I went real deep. I did a deep dive until niggas was gonna start minding their fucking business. Yeah, y'all be light on motherfuckers that if they touch kids, they be real light on it. They been in the system and everything. But some people don't want you in they joint. But if the sex offender, you just gotta register. but they don't mind you standing around there. Some people don't mind, but they notify you. It's all in yellow. I know the houses. I That's why I said, do you see what I see? B. I don't know B. If B out there, you know me. Yeah, look. yo, yo, I told y'all before, I ain't want to join y'all group, bro. I don't want to join whatever. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, but it's some sex offenders that just moved up in there. Yeah, that's the one thing people don't realize. They gonna tell us. My name ain't on there. You just gotta know how to read. But you don't wanna know nothing. I know exactly which one sold when they sold. When they was taken off the market. Yeah, I come in that motherfucker and bring the property value up. I knew what the trust was. So yeah, the property value went up to yeah, y'all burnt me, and then what? Yeah, y'all put the yeah, y'all doubled the money for it and some high power white attorney because she thought she was licking her lips, thinking that I didn't know what I was doing. Bitch, you crazy. I study everybody. I know the laws. I know the date the fucking judge came on my case to put more pressure on me. And y'all, it's two separate cases that's open. One ended the case, then y'all switched over to another company. Yeah, the motherfuckers is catching y'all motherfuckers. You ain't got nothing on me. Nathan. Nathaniel, I don't know Nathaniel. And guess what? I still ain't a part of your fucking group. Yeah, we call no weapon formed against us shall prosper. Yeah, we call believers. And we were supposed to be lenders, not borrowers. So I like a fuck up. He just charge 0% interest. You ain't gotta pay it back, but you ain't gonna keep asking. Yeah, we got rules too. It's called the Riot Act. It must be legal because, yeah, the captain, when you walk into the Fed. So I got a riot act in my fucking life. Why I can't have a riot act in my life? They could have it in the Fed. It's unwritten. Certain things you don't do. And if you do this, this is what's going to happen. Consent or conquest. So if you don't get my money, y'all want to listen to anything? Yeah, I know who y'all listened to. The one that talk too much. She talk too much. You don't get my money. You all on the wire. Oh man. I mean, anybody need to hear no more of this? Y'all can go to right to this John. You see, he got the John off his A's out. It's like this there. Yeah. He got the justice sign and it says SWAT power. He only got 10, 10 likes so far. Yeah. See, I ain't no software engineer. So what software engineer is looking into my shit? Yeah, we get my money. If you don't get my money, y'all just go look back to when they was talking about deep fakes and deep 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 state and all that shit.
Ground colors, image compression artifacts. The output was engineered to look like it came from a DMV camera. At 6:14 a.m., the first suspect arrived at the building. He parked his vehicle in the structure, walked to the elevator, and ascended to the third floor. Two Secret Service agents met him in the hallway outside Suite 314. The arrest was uneventful. The suspect was cooperative. He identified himself, confirmed his connection to Parallel Metrics LLC, and declined to answer further questions without an attorney. He was handcuffed, escorted to a waiting vehicle, and transported to the Secret Service's Atlanta field office for processing. The second suspect arrived 22 minutes later. Same routine, same cooperation, same silence after requesting counsel. Both men were in federal custody by 6:40 a.m. Simultaneously, GBI agents executed search warrants at both residences. At the Peachtree Corners apartment, agents found 3 additional laptops, an external hard drive, and printed documentation related to bank account applications. At the Johns Creek residence, agents recovered a second external hard drive and financial records showing cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Neither residence contained additional server equipment. The evidence response team spent 11 hours processing the Duluth office suite. Total hardware seized: 4 server racks containing 32 high-performance GPU units, 9 desktop computers, 14 external storage devices, and a network-attached storage system with approximately 18 terabytes of data. The value of the computing equipment alone exceeded $350,000. The forensic analysis of the seized data took weeks. What emerged was a complete operational blueprint. The pipeline worked in stages. Stage 1, identity generation. The system created a complete biographical profile: name, date of birth, social security number. The SSN component was the most sophisticated element. The suspects had identified a vulnerability in the Social Security Administration's enumeration system. SSNs issued to deceased individuals were not consistently flagged across all verification databases in real time. The system targeted these dormant numbers, pairing them with AI-generated biographical data that matched the original holder's approximate age range and geographic region. Stage 2, document fabrication. Using the generated profile, the system produced a driver's license image, a utility bill, a bank statement from a fictitious previous institution, and an employment verification letter. The documents were generated using templates built from publicly available samples. The quality was high enough to pass automated document verification systems used by most financial institutions. Stage 3, credit seeding. The synthetic identity applied for a secured credit card with a small deposit, typically $300 to $500, funded through prepaid debit cards purchased with cash. The card was used for small, regular purchases and paid in full each month. Within 60 to 90 days, the identity had a thin but positive credit file. Stage 4, credit building. And participating in a live video call.
So who started that, John? I think that bank is called Capital One or Credit One Bank. Yeah, y'all was doing that shit. Y'all made y'all shit look like Credit One, like Capital One. And I was like, yo, this some fucking, yeah, that was the, like, in the first part of, I threw down all of the credit cards, I covered them up and showed you. Y'all was hitting those cards. It's called upgrade. All of it. But what did that have to do with me? What's illegal about paying a credit card bill? I'm a real fucking person. I don't know who the mother people is. I don't know who the mother jobs is. I'm a real fucking person. Y'all breach my, y'all let my shit go out in the breach. And I'm real. I don't know who these mechanical motherfuckers was. I'm just consistent. Motherfuckers ain't supposed to be able to build their credit. Yeah, fuck out of here. China told y'all June 15th. Who is it? Iran. If the board do anything, the next day, everybody in America will wake up with 800 credit scores. Test me.